Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. There we go, and happy Pride. Woohoo! It's so hot, we've got fans. That's what we have here. Got our fans today, thank you so much. If you haven't gotten a fan, they are in the box out at the front door, so you can get in on the action. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Fullerton, California, an inclusive, dedicated community dedicated to building a better world. I'm Reverend Robert Blair, whoever you are, however you identify, whether you join us in person or online, you are welcome. UUCF acknowledges that this land is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman, Kizh, and Tongva peoples. May we have the humility and courage to help restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with indigenous communities across the earth. Before we begin our service, got some announcements for you. Our special snack hour sign up. This is the sheet right here. Rosie is the person that will be carrying the sheet around for you to sign up so that we can have all of those wonderful goodies. And some of them are actually healthy for you. And then there's the good stuff. So we invite you to be part of feeding us after worship services and sign up for that. We are collecting school supplies for the NAACP Orange County's annual back to school. We're already talking about it, you all. Back to school. I know. We still got another month, most of us. But if you would like to give for the back to school drive, you can drop your items into the big bin in the narthex. We're going to be doing that another couple of weeks. So bring those in if you haven't this week. Tomorrow is the last day to register for the online Our Whole Lives facilitator training being offered by the UUA in August. We will be offering OWL classes this fall and will need teachers. Those of you who do not know about the OWL program, it is an amazing program that meets our students, our young people, where they are when it comes to certain parts of our lives, and sexuality, gender identity, all of the different questions and concerns. This is a really, really wonderful program. I wish it were available to everyone. We've talked about that before. Wish so many people could have this, but our kiddos do have this. So if you have any questions about that, of course, you can talk to Megan there, Joy as well, anyone on the education team, and they can get you all filled in on what you can do to actually help out or to invite some youngsters into the program as well and be invited to UUCF, which is always a plus. If you would like to support the LGBTQ+ community in a tangible way, join us next Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to send birthday cards and letters of encouragement as part of the Pinta Pride Project. We do this on the first Saturday of every month with members of FCC, First Christian Fullerton, Live Oak up in Brea, and us. Even just a letter, checking in, letting someone know that they are loved and that their lives are living in an authentic way is a blessing. And so we need to bless others by reaching out to them and letting them know that they are not alone. Karen Anderson will be leading the monthly drop-in support group this Saturday at 12:30. They meet on Zoom. We'll be sharing joys and sorrows a little later in the service, so if you're in the sanctuary and you would like to share, the slips are located in the back. They are pink. Just fill them out. Try and fill them out as legibly as possible so we can get the right information out. And if you're here, you can come and light your candle. Otherwise, we will light the candle for you. If you're joining us online, I invite you to post your joy, sorrow in the comments section as well as by saying hello and where you are with us this morning. And now, those of you in the sanctuary are welcome to take a moment to greet one another for about 1 to 2 minutes on this Pride Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everyone. And as we get ready to start the day with our joyful singing, gives me a chance to introduce to you today our guest accompanist. This is Mia Masuda. She's a personal friend of Christine Araoka, as well as a classmate from Cal State Fullerton. And we're going to see her only in brief because she will soon be off to London, baby, where she'll be studying for her master's degree at the Royal College. So we are very honored to have her today. And please stand and join us if you're as in body, mind, or spirit, as we like to say, for the song How Could Anyone by composer Libby Roderick. We'll sing it 3 times so it starts to layer into your mind and heart.
Less than whole. How could anyone feel
congratulations to the dancers who feel the music and bring it to life as well. Thank you.
I now invite our worship associate, Mark, to light the chalice as we read a protest and a party. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes, and why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands. Bring your glitter. Bring your Supreme Court broken heart. Bring your rainbow socks. Bring the emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix. Bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow. Bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together. And please join with me in saying our unison affirmation on the screen. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, thus do we covenant with one another.
It is our custom to provide donations of non-perishable food and personal care items for Pathways of Hope, a local food bank. As the children come forward, they are asked to collect the donations placed at the end of each row, and the children are now invited to come forward for the time of all ages. Do we have any children today? Awesome. It's okay, I'll sit down there.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Watson. I'm the teen coordinator here at UUCF, and this is Joy Ellis. She's our elementary teacher. And today we have a very special story to share with you. Has anyone ever heard of the legend of I'm gonna do it. Kapai Mahu. Has anyone ever heard of that? After I've butchered it a couple times? No? Well, I have a great story. This version of the story is written by Hina Kalu, who is a trans woman who is a native Hawaiian, and she was joined on this by Dean Hamer and Joe Wilson. So, long ago, 4 extraordinary individuals voyaged across the ocean from their home in Tahiti to Hawaii. They settled in Waikiki. The visitors were tall and deep in voice, yet gentle and soft-spoken. They were not male nor female. They were mahu, a mixture of both in mind, heart, and spirit. Indeed, the leader of the group was named Kapai Mahu. The gods favored the 4 visitors with skills in the science of healing. They could heal others, see what may need healing, and they knew what would help. They bequeathed their healing wisdom to the people of these islands. When the healers had completed their work, the people wished to express gratitude for their wondrous cures by erecting a monument in their honor. One moonless night, they gathered at Kaimuki, an area famous for its bell rock. They moved 4 great boulders all the way to Waikiki, miles away from where the rocks were. As the sun rose, the healers began to transfer their powers to the stone, placing idols of Mahu under each one. You can see that's in the picture right there. The ceremonies lasted a full moon, a whole month. Then, knowing that their healing power was safe in the stones, the Mahu vanished. The stones remained a sacred site for centuries. You guys know how long centuries are? 100 years. This was for 700 years. But as the tides of time passed, everything changed. The stones of Kapai Mahu were forgotten, even buried under a bowling alley. Yeah. The stones have since been recovered, thankfully, but their history is still being suppressed. And the fact that the healers were Mahu has been erased from the story of Kapai Mahu. It's a great loss, a deep shame. For only when you understand the true history of these stones will you behold their living power. Life, 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 long life to the story of Kapai Mahu. All right, we're gonna go to our classes now.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to meet a brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
Now it's time for our joys and sorrows. Mark will light a candle for any of those sharing online, and at last check, we did not have any online this morning, but we're glad to see those of you who are using Facebook, and hopefully YouTube Live will be happening soon as well. We'll be live everywhere with the help of Harry. Thank you for all you do, Harry. We begin by lighting a candle for all our concerns for the larger world, our wish for peace and justice, our hopes for the children who will inherit this planet. May this candle, this first candle, represent all these wishes and calls to action that are more than we can articulate in this space. And now let us share the personal joys and sorrows in our lives. This is a joy from Barbara Manga. Did I say that correct? Mager. I apologize. Hi, Barbara. Went to a conference in Orlando and met a lady from UUCF, Universal Unitarian Church of Fresno. We are everywhere. I will remember your name from now on. A joy from Debbie Langenbacher. A huge thank you to everyone. We raised $915 for Planned Parenthood last Sunday. And a huge joy that Al Danzig is back with us in the sanctuary. So glad that you're here in person. We now light one more candle for all those joys, concerns, and sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. And now please join in saying the affirmation on your screen. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
Let us move into a spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer. You may choose to close your eyes, take a deep breath, whatever helps you find your center. Nudging Us Toward Life by Lee Ivey. The practice of love offers no place of safety. Bell hooks, and all about love, new version. 30 years ago, the pink triangle button pinned on my jacket identified me as queer. My t-shirt said, "Silence equals death," and "No on 9." The evangelical right-wing group had gotten an initiative on the ballot proposing to amend the Oregon constitutional ban on LGBTQ plus civil rights protection and to label us as abnormal, wrong, unnatural, and perverse. Already deep in the fight against AIDS, our community was plunged into a dehumanizing, demeaning debate about whether we were dangerous sexual predators. The stakes were high, the intense homophobia and fear and danger were real. One day, as I pulled into the gas station where I wasn't sure I was safe going out, I found myself taking my pink triangle button off my jacket. Although nothing about how I looked didn't signal Dyke, after I drove away, I was flooded with a sense of regret. This was not how I wanted to be. I believed with all my heart that persistent, obvious queer presence would save us, and I had betrayed my heart. I could not shake the feeling, and I soon sewed pink triangle patches on every one of my jackets and clothes. Invisibility equals silence, silence equals death. Using they, them, their pronouns reminds me of that pink triangle patch. Every day I face the question, do I assert, request, correct, here, now? Each time I am able to answer yes. I experience a teeny sense of nudging us towards life. Now, one of our political parties is busy pushing waves of bills targeting and oppressing trans and non-binary people and their families through the legislature across country. The stakes are still high, all around, as Jewish author and activist Emma Lazarus taught us back in 1883, until we are all free, none of us are free. God of all the names and no names at all, help me live in gratitude for the LGBTQ plus ancestors who have paved this road we've walked on. Stay with me in my feeling sacred during brave, nudging us forward. Bill Hooks writes again, queer, not as being about who you're having sex with, but queer as being about a self that is at odds with everything around it and has to invent it and create and find a place to speak and to thrive and to live. Karishma Godfrey writes, I accidentally came out at a homily I delivered at summer seminary. I had been recently leaning into my identity as a queer woman of color, and I said as much. I forgot, however, that I didn't mention the fact to my parents yet, who were watching the live stream at First Unitarian in Chicago from their couch in Corvallis, Oregon. When my dad came to pick me up at the airport a few weeks later, he brought up the subject almost immediately. So, I wanted to ask you, what does queer mean to you? I'd flirted with a lot of different labels throughout the years, from ally to bisexual to lesbian, but none of them ever felt quite right. Each has a special place in my heart for the communities I've been in solidarity with and the identities that I've claimed, but I kept returning to the word queer. I've had conversations with LGBTQ elders about the word queer. Not everyone uses it. Some have too many memories of it being used as a weapon against them to have to sit right in their soul. But for me, a mixed-raced person of color, a gender-expansive relationship anarchist, and of course, a Unitarian Universalist, queer is the perfect word, not just to describe my sexuality, but every part of me and what I embody. As I've studied queer theology in seminary, I've actually become more and more convinced that Unitarian Universalism itself is a queer faith, defined not by creed passed down through generations, but by the real-world commitment we each make other in the present. Unitarian Universalism queers the idea of theology itself, not requiring God to do the talk. But God talk includes the atheists, agnostics, polytheists, and all of those who endeavor to engage in the search for truth and meaning. My queerness and my Unitarian Universalism are inexplicably linked, informing each other at every bend on the road. I would not be who I am without either of them. Spirit of life, queerly beloved of the strange and the odd and the imperfect and the beautiful, help us find the words that embody who we truly are.
I think it's important to start off with going back to the essential golden rule, if you will. And so with that, I get the Golden Girls golden rule from the little golden book. Actually, little golden books now have Golden Girls books. And there's nothing gayer than this on this pride. So I've noticed that no one in here has on a jacket but me, and I am already starting to perspire. So would you mind today, is that okay? I don't need a clap for that, you all. Being gay is a gift from God. That's the slogan that a United Methodist Church in Toledo, Ohio, put up on a billboard 2 years ago. It garnered a lot of attention from all sides of the religion and sexuality debate and challenging their denomination to step up and proclaim what was going on in the United Methodist Church at that point was allowing LGBTQ plus ministers. And so it was a big deal, really big deal, in proclaiming the worth of all children. It was not only a brave thing for that Toledo church to do, it was a radical statement to make. So I ask of us this morning, what radical statement can we make as persons and communities? What radical statement can we make here at UUCF? Last year, I was invited to write a pride reflection for Disciple Seminary Foundation. It's in the building right next door. It's an organization that supports seminarians throughout the United States and the world. And it tells a bit more of my story, my coming out, and I'd like to share a little bit of that with you. From a very early age, I knew I was different. I remember sitting on my aunt's lap at my grandparents' Central Kentucky dinner table after my first week in kindergarten. It was like 1980. What? I'm young. I said 1980 and I hear, oh my gosh, okay. My aunt said, "Did you meet new friends at school?" And with no knowledge of the worldview of the early 80s, I said, "I met this one boy. He's very pretty and I like him a lot." At 5 years old, the shame and homophobia of the 70s and 80s hadn't burst my bubble. No one in the dining room made a big deal about what I said. My same-sex attraction had not come from past traumas, as some in the religious right would argue. I shared something that I thought was beautiful and natural and wonderful, which it was. I would learn later, though, that the world and many who call themselves Christians didn't see it that way. No one in my family discussed that kindergarten conversation. But even as a child, no one could protect me from the headlines of the gay cancer, as they called it, that was ravaging the nation. My mother and father divorced in 1987, and my mom and sister and I moved from Frankfort, Kentucky, to Indianapolis, Indiana. In Indiana, I remember hearing the story about Ryan White. Do you all remember that name? Ryan was a young hemophiliac from Kokomo, Indiana, who contracted HIV/AIDS from a blood transfusion. During high school, my love for broadcast landed me my first radio job in Kokomo at the age of 16. I was a disc jockey at the top 40 station there. And the country station across town would become the epicenter of evil as the two morning radio hosts incited fear and anger over Ryan White's fight to attend school in person in Kokomo. Although White contracted AIDS through blood transfusions, there was rampant homophobia and hate and misinformation filled the airwaves on that country station. This teenage boy my age didn't ask for this, and yet was the target of so much hate. And this consciously and subconsciously forced me to deny who I was and what I was. I was 16 at the time. My radio career then exploded my senior year in high school as I became the #1 night personality at a top 40 station in Indianapolis. It was a big deal. It was a dream of mine, and it happened almost too soon, being in high school and having this job. And this was the early 90s, and my entire focus was conveniently on my career. There was no way I was gonna ruin my professional life by accepting the truth of who I was and sharing that truth with others. My time on air in Indy was amazing. I don't talk about it a lot, but I mean, hosting just amazing events with the Indy 500 and going down the New River whitewater rafting with listeners and interviewing Boys to Men and Backstreet Boys and Duran, getting blown off by Prince, who walked away. He's very short at the time. He was very short. But I was missing out on a college experience, right? So I made a big decision to leave the job that I had in Indy. And in 1997, came out here to Chapman University with the help of scholarships from the Film TV School and the church, the denomination, the Disciples of Christ. The college experience I yearned for also brought about the thing I was so frightened of: my sexual orientation. I fell in love with my fraternity pledge brother at Chapman. When I was with him, the world felt right, and afterwards, I felt shame and remorse. His parents were very involved with the Republican Party of Orange County. I lived a lie with my friends and family, and so did he. I was scared, he was scared. Finally, I went to see the head of the college church program at Chapman University. It's part of Disciples and UCC. The United Church of Christ, and I went to him, tired and tearful. I walked into his office, not even making it to the chair to sit down. As I slid down the walls in the corner, I told him, "Dan, I'm gay." And Dan opened his arms and said, "God loves you. There is nothing to be ashamed of." Still, fear kept me in dark places. My inner homophobia was not going to disappear magically. I had put this off for years. I was worried about my future life, grieving what I thought was the loss of a normal life. By the way, I love my life. My family was scared for me, and I was petrified too. It was a challenging time of acceptance for all of us because it was the 90s. You see, at that time, I was trying to believe that the Creator made me this way and loved me even though I was gay. I know now that I am loved. I was born this way. My experiences with my home church and denomination of the DOC in Kentucky, Indiana, and Chapman were hospitable and affirming. I wish I could say the same as a seminary student and ordained minister in the Disciples of Christ in Southern California. My journey to becoming a minister happened during these ongoing tumultuous times in the past few years, LGBTQ plus disciple siblings have had to endure more debates regarding inclusion and affirmation. I want to share one of those experiences because it happened in this sanctuary. It was a regional assembly in the sanctuary here 3 years ago for the Disciples of Christ. The region was voting on whether our newly formed Alliance Q LGBTQ plus group would be able to have representation on the regional board. Didn't really have to do with theology at all. I mean, it was just, can we be recognized and have a position on the board? Can we be seen and heard? Then they opened up the microphones for discussions. And two on the against side proceeded to say that there should be no representation of a group, of this group, because it goes against what the Bible said. These people need to be saved. They're not to be celebrated. They are unclean. My heart sunk. There was this warm feeling in my chest warning me that my heart rate was going to increase. I felt that impending doom. I left the sanctuary, and that was it until February 9th, when you welcomed me here. It's amazing when there's some healing from trauma. And you all have been part of that journey for me in a space that at one time was really, really an uncomfortable space to be. And now I'm off one vacation week and I miss it. Let me tell you, the love that you expressed and showed to me, Michael, my family, my mom's coming out next week. I can't wait for you to meet her. But it truly brought about healing. And I thank you for that so much. The Big C Church is often the taillights and not the headlights. LGBTQ plus suicide due to religious trauma is high. Violence against our trans siblings is at record levels, and that's why I decided to go into ministry in the first place. To use my gifts, my empathy and vision to create safe and loving spaces for my LGBTQ plus siblings and others. You know, queer people of faith continue to struggle for representation and a place at the table. And it's not just in Christian circles or in Judaism or Buddhism or Hinduism. It's with my Baha'i queer friends as well, who are going through very difficult times. In some ways, things have gotten easier and better. In other ways, we're taking some major steps back, and all you have to do is watch the news to see that happening. But through the challenges, we continue to stand on the shoulders of queer justice warriors and claiming our place and our space. As the pattern of hateful political rhetoric and religious exclusion got louder, my last church became intentional in our words and actions, okay? I was at All Peoples when all of this was happening. The next Sunday, as you may know, in the disciples, there's a communion table. We added an explicit invitation to LGBTQ plus people and people who have been turned away from the table to come up first. And we mentioned it every Sunday. That was the intention that was needed, and that is what came. Something good that came out of something that was very difficult. Being gay is a gift from God. Can you believe the prophetic wisdom of a church in Ohio? To stir up the waters, to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. It's a good statement to make. And it's a statement needed now more than ever. Beloveds, in the newsletter that Amy sent out, it said that today's sermon would show us how to be better allies. And so I want to make good with that promise. And I want us to think about this in terms of me and we. We do that often, right? I want us to think as both an ally in me and an ally in we, an ally in UUCF. How can you be a better ally? And how can UUCF rise to the call? Some of the things I'm going to say are going to seem really, really simple, but they really do work, and it's the small things that actually can make the most difference. We begin by showing that we are safe. How? By wearing rainbows, trans pride flags, wear a trans support pin, not just during June, but every Sunday morning and in your everyday life. As teachers, my husband, Michael, and I both have something on us at all times to show that we are safe in school and safe for somebody to come to, okay? And I say that to you as well, because when someone sees you across a grocery store aisle, at work, in school, or walking through our church doors, those symbols matter so much. We wear the rainbows for pride, yes, but also for support and protection. To let people know, hey, you're safe here. You need to talk to somebody, come, talk to me. Let's make those signs of safety part of everything that we do. Put them on our logos, which is coming, by the way. I can't wait till you see what we're doing with the logos and with our new website. It's going to be amazing. Put them on our logos, on our websites, on our bulletin boards. Let every corner of UUCF quietly but clearly say, you belong here. We do that up here when it comes to our faith and our openness to faith. Let us do that in other areas. Second, why not print out and include pronouns on our name tags? Or when you're introducing yourself, include your pronouns. It's not something that I have been doing in this place right here in space. Maybe that's something that we should start honoring and doing more, not just me, but as a community. when LGBTQ plus people return to faith spaces, maybe for the first time in a long time, they are watching. They are looking for signs of trauma. Let us not be a space where that is evident, and let us be a space that is one where people will want to return. Let's give them visual cues that say, you're safe here. We see you. You're loved here. Let's not just practice listening in the tent at Fullerton Pride for one afternoon on a Saturday. Let's practice listening everywhere in committee meetings, in coffee hour conversations, in the quiet spaces where people risk sharing who they truly are. And let's go further still. Speak up when someone makes a hurtful joke, even if it's awkward. Challenge policies and systems that exclude with our social action committee. Support LGBTQ-owned businesses, creators, and organizations. And educate ourselves. Don't wait for LGBTQ plus folks to teach you. And I will tell you, as a white man of privilege who is gay, I have learned so much from my trans siblings. And I have gotten pronouns wrong and messed up. But what I've been told is, hey, Mr. Blair, you messed up, but you're trying. And some of my teachers don't do that. Let's be those who mess up by trying. Ask how our RE programs affirm all identities. Not someday, but right now. Vote for policies that protect trans youth, affirm queer families, and make the world safer for everyone. Unitarian Universalism is not a spectator faith. I've learned that. We don't just say we believe in justice, we practice it. Remember, we say where service is our prayer. I am going to continue to say that over and over. So let us go from this place, this space, not just with pride, but with purpose. Let us be the visible welcome someone has been longing for. Let us be the voice that speaks up when silence would be safer. Let us be the community that doesn't just hang a flag in June, but makes space for LGBTQ plus people all year long, in every room, at every table. Let us go out today with courage and compassion. Allies in me and allies in we. And we are just talking about one group today. Let us also continue to be an anti-racist congregation, to know and to educate ourselves on what needs to be done, because we need more diversity, right? We need that. I want to close with a blessing. I wrote a couple of years ago for Pride, and I think it still holds true today. You know, a lot of religious groups say, oh, pride, that's sin, and they're looking at pride in a very different way, okay? The definition of LGBTQ plus pride is the promotion and self-affirmation, dignity, equality, and increased visibility of the community. But as we celebrate LGBTQ plus Pride Month, let us look at another definition of pride: a group of lions. Shelby's doing the Paul thing right back. A group of lions. Now let me say why. May this month empower those who feel oppressed, unwelcome, and unaffirmed in their families, houses of worship, in their states and countries. May they find that inner strength, light, and sense of knowing, just as a lion does within their pride. A lion is not taught it belongs, or that it is powerful. It knows with a capital K. But many in the LGBTQ plus community don't have that place to belong. May those suffering know with a capital K, belonging, that the world is their den, and may they roar.
Thank you, Rob, for reminding us it's good to be an ally, and it's even better to be an accomplice. At UUCF, we embrace the possibility of a world filled with peace, acceptance, justice, love, and joy. By our financial commitment, we help this congregation through its maintenance, mission, and ministries. Make the possibilities real in a challenging world. The basket is being brought around to the sanctuary, and there are payment options on the screen. You please give whatever you can, and we are very grateful. Thank you for your commitment and generosity. And I would suggest, I know we all pretty much subscribe, but if you have any change in your pockets, please feel free to dump those in the basket as well. Thank you.
Okay, folks, won't you rise as willing and able, and we will be answering the call of love. If by chance you're using the former hymnal, it has original words standing on the side of love, but because to make it more inclusive, the words were changed to answering the call of love. So let's join in together.
So every soul
Our caring listener this week is Patrick Mannion. You can speak with him after the service if you have any concerns or would simply like someone to talk to, and trust that what you share is always confidential. Now, as we're standing, just grab your partner around and, no, that's it. As we answer this call of love, know that people are watching. Whether we are just talking the talk or actually walking the walk, let us go out into the world, showing the love that is so desperately needed. You now have some tools on how to be a better ally. Don't just keep them in here. Show them to the world. And when they ask, where'd you learn that? Bring them back here. We'd love to see it. Oh, we now extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go. So we say together, amen. Shalom, salam, namaste, and blessed be.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.